Hey everyone, welcome to EverydayFI, where we explore the lives of everyday people pursuing financial independence. I'm your host, Meghan Combs, and I'm here to show you that you do not need a $1 million book deal or a famous blog to reach financial independence early. By talking with real humans, I'll show you how you can forge your own path to financial freedom the everyday way. Today we're back with part 2 of Amanda's story, and we start by diving into how she adjusted to life with her newborn son, including transitioning back to work and navigating the challenges of maintaining a work-life balance. We also explore financial strategies, including achieving liquidity, building emergency funds, and planning for barista fire. Amanda talks about practical steps she and her wife are taking, like considering a nanny share, and the unexpected complexities of managing work-from-home life with a baby. Last up, we dive into Amanda's passion for writing and her recent accomplishment of self-publishing a collection of essays on transitional life moments. Make sure to stay till the very end because Amanda shares a very unique practice that has positively impacted her life. Tune in to hear Amanda's full story after a word from our sponsors. I wonder, is there anything in your current lifestyle that, like your current life right now that you have your son, that you would want to change or make these years even more enjoyable, even more present, have that feeling of presence even more, felt even more?
I think it would be nice, especially if we have another kid one day, to have a part-time schedule with work. That's the first thing that comes to mind as I'm coming back from maternity leave, started back 3 days a week, and now I'm just getting to the part in the calendar where I'm going back full time, and it's gonna be harder going from 3 to 5 days a week than it was just to start back 3 days a week. I was fine starting back 3 days a week. So I think having some sort of part-time, a little more flexibility when it comes to PTO with work is gonna be paramount.
Real quick, before you move on, I want to ask, have you talked to work about this yet? Okay. Is that something that you want to do? Talk to them about keeping a part-time schedule or the flexibility with the
I don't
PTO?
think it's something that I plan to pursue immediately. I'm thinking
Gotcha.
more maybe like a 5-year sort of plan. In terms of our investment strategy, I think we will probably become more liquid in the coming years, and we will probably have a bigger savings than a lot of FI folks have probably croaked to see what I think we have in mind in terms of having more liquid cash that will help us have adventures and finance sabbaticals and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And so liquid, do you mean money outside of investments or do you mean money outside of retirement accounts or money outside your house? What do you mean? I guess, can you clarify what you mean by liquid?
Just cash savings.
Cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
outside of
Cash
retirement.
not invested.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I tend to do the same thing where I'm like, I talk about cash and people are like, do you mean cash as in not invested? And I'm like, oh no, I'm like cash, like even in my brokerage account that's invested to me, that's cash because it's free from strings, I guess.
Mm.
The only
Uh-huh.
string is like potentially selling it in a down market. So yeah, thanks for clarifying that because I think I mix up my terminology all the time. And so I'm like, what do you mean by liquid? Because my liquid probably means something different. Yeah,
Oh,
awesome.
no,
Okay.
you're good.
And so are you taking steps now to achieve that liquidity and that part-time status within the next 5 years?
2 months in, I think we're just staying afloat at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. You're
Everything's up
drowning in
my head.
diapers.
Yeah, drowning in diapers. Everything's up in my head right now. I'm turning things over. I would love to hear from your listeners what thoughts they have or what experiences they've had. In terms of action plans, like you said, I think this is a 5-year timeline. Works fine for now. In terms of being more liquid, we have continued to pile on to our savings, even though we reached our emergency fund goal. So I think we are making small steps in that area.
Yeah, that's great. And that's awesome that you made your emergency fund goal of 6 months. That's congratulations.
Great. Feels awesome.
Yeah, I applaud you. It's amazing.
So, how has your spending changed now that you have a baby? Is it really as bad? Because that's one thing that Chris is terrified of because he's been unemployed for the last 7 months. So, on his sabbatical, which was, we will admit, was a rage quit situation. So, not really planned out. And so I have no more money left. And so when I talk about children, since we're going through this fertility journey, I don't even want to talk about having kids until I like am solidly 6 months into this new job. And I'm like, okay, but really, is it really that much more money to have a child?
You'll have to ask me again when I have more data, but I'd say for now, it doesn't have to
This
be
is
as
the
bad.
data analyst. Sorry, that's the data analyst. I love it. Continue.
2 months of data, it's a small sample size. I'm a believer that it doesn't have to be as bad as everyone says. We all see these astronomical numbers of how much it costs to raise a child. I loved the Canadian FI blog Modern Family, FIMILY. Unfortunately, last I checked, they were down. She wasn't running the blog anymore, but she used to publish quarterly updates on how much it cost for their 2 children. I think they had an infant and a toddler. And she bought a lot of things used. She bought a lot of sustainable things that could be used again and again, such as cloth diapering, which we've started doing. It's a huge money saver. They utilize a lot of free like museum passes in their town and went to library events. And so the point of those posts was to say, look, our children are having a really rich and fun childhood, and it's not breaking the bank. So it's easier said than done, but so far it hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, I'm curious since it was Canada. I don't know what their childcare system is like there, but
Better.
I'm assuming it's better than the United States. So I wonder how that comes into play. Like, I know that one of the biggest costs is childcare, and then I believe college are like the
Mhm.
two biggest, is what I've
Yeah.
heard. And I always wonder about childcare is very expensive, but it is only for a short period of time. Like until they hit kindergarten, which is you can put them in public school, which is what they're 5, right? Is
Mm.
that right?
Yeah, 5 going
6?
on 6. Mhm.
Yeah. So 5 years of daycare doesn't seem too bad. I don't know. Have you looked at daycare rates in Virginia yet? Or are you like, I'm not looking at that yet?
It's actually great that you bring that up because that will raise our expenses for him considerably, and we are looking at that right now. We thought going into having a baby, "Oh, we both work from home. Until he starts crawling, we'll be able to just manage." Megan, he's needy. He's very needy. Even if he's not moving, we feel like it's not as easy as we first thought. So I think
Okay. Say more about that because that is what I wanted to do. So if it's not working, then now I'm like, shit, do I have to change my plan? What do you mean he's needy? What yeah, give me more. I need more there.
yeah, I think part of it is that at the moment, he doesn't wanna sleep in a bassinet or in a crib by himself, so he's strapped to us in a baby wrap, baby carrier for every nap, and we can move around and maybe type on a computer or read something doing that, but we can't we can't move around a lot. So I think, yeah, it's just the constant churn with a newborn where they're hungry and then they need their diaper changed. And then he'll kick around and content himself for 20, 25 minutes. And then he gets tired and it's time to nap. And then he wakes up again and it's time to eat. So it's just more intensive than we thought. We thought he'd be more of a blob. And I'm glad he's not a blob. He's a really fun guy. So I'm grateful for that. But man, he's not even crawling yet. And it's already like this intensive and hands on. So I think we are going to start with getting a nanny in the house a couple days a week, days that we know are busier for us with our work schedules, and hopefully the other days of the week. I still feel confident that I think we can make it work on our less busy work days.
Yeah, that's a really great compromise. And actually, when you said that, it just reminded me that my best friends, again, I keep bringing them up because they're the only people I know who have a newborn who like live near me. So they did the same thing. They both work from home. And I don't think they would say that their child is needy, but I think it's just babies need like a very consistent schedule of constant napping, constant feeding. Like she napped and fed 5, 6 times a day. We spent Christmas together. And yeah, it was like nap feed, nap feed. And I think they only were able to let her like lay and play in her pen, like her little play pen, because she's only 6 months old. So she's not quite crawling either for, yeah, like 20 minutes. Otherwise, they were holding her. And I was like, how do y'all do that when you work from home? And they were like, yeah, we're pretty much just holding her on meetings. And they're getting a part time nanny. Or I think they already got one. Yeah, that's a great compromise. And thanks for sharing that because that's going to be something Chris and I are going to have to think about.
Yeah. Something to consider.
Yeah.
I've heard that one cost saving measure can be nanny shares, where you're sharing a nanny with another family. So theoretically, you're paying less per child. In an area like yours, so a more urban area, it might work out. I think it's just hard to do in smaller towns or in rural areas. Hard to find a family with a similar age child, a nanny who's willing to watch more than one child. Do you and the other family have similar values with how you want your child or children to be cared for? But in urban areas, I've heard that that can help soften the blow of childcare costs.
That's super interesting. Do you know of any websites you could find people on? Or is this like you just hear it from other mothers or parents? Or how does that work?
The only one I know of so far is care.com for finding help. I don't know specifically with nanny shares. I think when I've heard of people doing it, it's just kind of them throwing it together. I don't know of any websites.
Okay, so they throw it together. Interesting. Yeah, because I am a very mistrustful. So they're going to be like grilling any nanny. And I'm definitely going to be like, I'm going to be in the house when you are here. But yeah, that's still a really interesting idea for people who are not as uptight as I am for sharing that. Have y'all found a nanny yet, or are you just in the search now?
Not yet, just searching. My wife's not back to work yet, so we have some time.
Yeah, yeah. And you did mention that you didn't quite struggle with going to part time, but you're struggling with going full time. Was there any time period where you're like, maybe I could just not go back and maybe one of us could just be a stay at home mom? Did either of you ever think that?
I can see the appeal, and I think I want to get our financial ducks in a row so that that might be an option if there's a second kid in the future. Yeah, because then the childcare costs are times two, of course. Maybe in the future. Again, right now we're just in survival mode and survival mode / contemplation mode of figuring out what our new normal's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. 2 months in, that's early days.
Do a follow up in a year or so.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually approaching my year mark with the amount of episodes I have. I'm going to start bringing people back on and be like, hey, let's like revisit your story, yo. What's going on? Where are you? Have you fired yet? Yeah. So I would love to have you back on to talk about that. I can also talk about babies all day long. And I'm doing like research right now. I'm like, well, nanny sharing, write that down. So yeah, I really appreciate that.
Oh, of course. I will want to hear the update on you as well.
Yeah, I will give it. I know that when I go on maternity leave, I'm going to struggle coming back because I already want to just stop working. I am one of those weirdos who would really prefer just not to have. I say I would prefer just not to have a corporate job. Like I would love to just go and work in a coffee shop again because, it's so low stress. You get to make fun, foamy drinks. You meet some characters and then you go home and you don't have to worry about anything. There's no quarterly planning. There's no revenue projections. There's no car. There's not anybody who works in software probably likes triggered. There's no sprint planning or story points or any of that crap. I don't have to care about that. I can just interact with humans and make some good coffee and then go home. I think we're not there yet. And I'm like, yeah, anyway.
I feel that. I could see that being a part of my FI journey one day too, at a point where either I still need to make some money or I just want to work some. My like equivalent of that barista vision is that I had a work study job in college that was in athletic operations. They got a bunch of college students to set up things before and after sporting events. So we were often on the sidelines at basketball games, like running stuff around during halftime. We were like setting up all the apparatuses for gymnastic meets. And it was just so fun. I love sports. So it was fun being around sports and being behind the scenes and on the sidelines. So something like that, I would totally do that again in a heartbeat and get paid a pittance for it. I'd be fine.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And you said you played basketball, right? Was it high school or college?
Yeah.
Yeah, high school. Yeah. So it's almost like going back to your roots, or roots as in roots of your passion that you had. So that's awesome.
For sure.
I love that idea. And I love being able to think outside the box when it comes to the barista-fi. Because you don't have to be a barista, y'all. I was a barista, so I know what it's like. So you can do something like what you just said. I also heard a story of somebody who retired now. It was a traditional age. And I think she was like on executive level. And now she works at a stadium, like a baseball stadium. And she loves it because she loves baseball. So that reminded me of your story because I love baseball. And now I get to be I get to watch the games. I think she's like the person, like a security person or a ticket person, but she's like in and out of the stadium seats.
Yeah.
And so she can just watch baseball games all day and get paid for it. And I love it. And I don't know if they ever made a way to watch Netflix series and get paid for it. I'm your girl.
Netflix fi.
Yes, Netflix fi. Yeah.
That's another tongue twister.
Yes, Netflix fly. God damn it. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. So we are approaching towards the end here, but I'm sure if you've listened to any of these before, you know that I like to talk about any current struggles or wins that you have in your life right now, because I think people can really learn from these things that we're going through in the moment. And then, especially when you come back on and we revisit them, be like, so how's this going now? So let's start with the current struggles, because then we can end on the high note of the win. So what are some current struggles or challenges that you got going on right now?
Yeah, honestly, I think I already covered it just in thinking how to shift from a future oriented to a more focused, planted in the present approach to FI. And it sounds simple, but it's hard to mentally make that switch, to be willing to spend more in the present, to be willing to invest less in the present. So I think that's something I know that I want to do, but I'm struggling a little bit with just practically grappling with having to make those kinds of decisions.
Yeah, that's hard if you're very used to stuffing money away and now you have to spend it. I think that's like a classic FI story
Mhm.
of not me, but I'm fun. I could spend your money if you ever need pointers. Anyway, yeah, I'm wondering if there's a way that you can set a goal or something like, okay, I have to spend $100 a week on making the present moment even better. I don't know, and you have to spend that money. And maybe it can even be in its own account. And it's this account always has to be close to zero or something, or maybe a card, because having an account close to zero would freak me out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But
Yeah, I like that idea. And I've tried to think of what exactly are the things that would make the present better. I think one thing, a bigger purchase we want to make in the future is a pop up camper, because we both love to be outside. We love to hike. We don't love sleeping on the dirt. That's the one. That's the one line we draw. So having a camper of some sort where we'd be on a mattress would help. So I think when I think of, I go building off of your idea, things that I'd put fun budget or enrich the present day sort of budget, what would I put that towards? I think it would be being outdoors, paddling and hiking. I think it would be being with family, making trips down the highway to see my mom or to fly and visit siblings wherever they are. So I like that idea a lot.
yeah, I'm so glad that you gave examples of what you want to spend the money on. And maybe another suggestion for you and for anybody else who's listening who might be struggling with the same thing, like writing those down or having them around you, like somewhere that it can not emphasize, but not, oh my God, I'm missing this word. It can reinforce. That's the word I want. Okay. Having those messages around you so that they can reinforce that want to spend. Like maybe you can trick yourself into, I want to spend this money because if I don't, then I don't get to do this thing that I'm seeing pasted on my mirror or my fridge or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, just an idea. Like, yeah, a vision
Yeah.
board to get woo
Yeah.
with.
I like that. And if I weren't focused like that with the vision board or the list and the categories, what I could see happening is it becomes our eating out budget. Oh, what are we going to do for fun? Let's eat at this restaurant again. So I think approaching it really intentionally would make it a net benefit, not just another expense.
Yeah, for sure. Cause I could eat out all day. And if you're twisting my arm to spend money, yeah, if you're not doing it intentionally, it could go towards things that are just like, I don't know, Amazon packages that just show up at
Yeah,
your door. You're like, what
that's
is
right.
why is this shipping to me? I actually had to remove all of my shopping apps off my phone. So even
Mm.
Pinterest, Pinterest is like literally all it is a shopping app now. It just has advertisements for, oh, we noticed you're interested in this top. Here it is that you could buy. And now I just look at my phone and I'm like, there's nothing to look at on here except work. So
Ew.
we should be buying stuff. Yeah, but it's just anyway. Cool. Okay, so what are some of your wins right now? Let's end on or let's go to a more positive conversation.
Yeah. Obviously, having baby boy here and healthy is a huge win. Having that emergency savings feels really good. And one that I haven't mentioned is that I love to write. And throughout the past year, worked on a collection of essays about just this time in life. It felt like a really liminal, transitional sort of time, going out of my 20s into my 30s, going out of being dinks into being parents. And so I wrote a lot of essays about it and put them together. And I pseudo published them recently, AKA I emailed them to 15 to 20 friends and family. But that was the goal that I had, that I just want, it's so easy to write things and then the world never sees them. So I'm really happy that I put it all together. People read it, people responded, and I feel like people got to know me and my inner soul better through the process. And I think it makes me feel more confident about actually publishing something in a traditional manner, an official publishing book, to traditionally publish a book in the future. I think it makes me feel more confident for that.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have so many questions now, so you're going to have to talk about this. So, do you want to publish those stories themselves, like to a wider audience, or would you be willing to do that? And if not, like, why wouldn't you want to do that?
It's a good question. I don't want to go through the rigmarole of editing and going through traditional publishing right now. I think I just want to be present with the baby right now, which is why I set the low bar for myself of just this sort of self-publishing, email it to people. So I could see myself going through it one day, but I think more likely I'll just be on to the next project, and whether it's a novel or whether it's something that's similarly autobiographical like this project. Yeah, maybe in the future, but I'm pretty content with keeping it what it is right now.
Yeah, for sure. But see, I want to read them. So can I be on your email list?
Absolutely. I'd love for
Yeah.
you to read them.
Hey, okay, cool. So are you considering doing a blog and sharing them on there? Like maybe the wider audience who might listen to this show might want to read them as well. Have you thought about doing that? Can I convince you to do that?
I think you probably could twist my arm. Yeah, I've had several blogs. I am no rookie to the blog game. Again, harkening back to what I said in the beginning about I love seeing people start things and improve with time, because I have started so many bad blogs in my lifetime. But I think I'm a better writer now for it. So it all works out. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll post them on my Instagram or something, or
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then I can share that. Do you plan on publishing the stories that you sent out to your friends and family to your Substack? And can I share that link with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll post those in the coming months, one at a time, and I'll probably denote them a little subtitle saying this is a part of my essay collection called 29. So I would love for folks to read them and let me know what they think.
Yeah, that's awesome because then I can read it on there and then you can reactivate your Substack with these stories that you've already got content. It's already there. So there you go. I love that. Thank you. Cool. Okay, so we are approaching the end of the episode. I'm so sad. Wow, it is almost 8 o'clock here. I've been talking a lot. I can't believe that. So, what I like people to leave the audience with is a recommendation, hack, or learning that we haven't talked about yet that you think the community could benefit from.
Mhm. I'm a big fan, as cheesy as it sounds, of gratitude. Gratitude has made a big difference in my life when I've been in darker places. I think it just trains us to see the good when so many of us just see the bad every day. So I do a little practice that I call my 3 by 3. I usually do it when I'm walking the dog. And first is I notice three things, and I'll usually try and do three different senses. So I'm not just like, there's a tree, there's a house, there's a dog. I might say, okay, I see that tree. I smell wood smoke a few houses over, and I hear that bird. So that's the first one, noticing three things. And then the second portion of the 3 by 3 is thinking of three things that I'm proud of myself for. And I'll try and make it pretty recent, maybe in the past 24 hours, things that I'm proud that I did or accomplished or said, or I reached out to somebody or whatever it is. And then the last part is that I convert those three things that I'm proud of myself for into sort of affirmative statements about myself. So if I was proud that I wrote a letter to my niece, then maybe that becomes I'm thoughtful or I'm caring. If I'm proud that I went to the gym, then maybe that becomes I'm active, I'm healthy, something like that. So it gives me a little boost and gives me three nice things to think about myself each day.
I absolutely love that. And I'm going to do that because, and especially with those affirmative statements at the end, that to me feels like the most powerful part of that activity
Mhm.
because if you continue to say, I am this, instead of saying, I do the thing, or because I've done gratitude practices in the past and they've become a little stale, like
Mhm.
continually saying, yeah, I'm thankful for Chris. I'm thankful. But instead saying, I'm thankful that I found a man like Chris. And I found a man like Chris because I worked on myself, because I am emotionally healthy. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
like that. That's what just came to my mind because
Yeah.
I can be thankful for Chris all day, but it could become stale. But then it goes back to me and saying, I am an emotionally healthy person. And that is why Chris is in my life. Like, it,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, you just like unlocked something for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So, yeah, that's going to be a little nugget in the intro for sure. You got to learn her gratitude hack called 3 by 3 at the end. Y'all stick around. Love that. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're towards the end of our time. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to bring up that you want to chat about before we sign off?
I don't think so. We covered it. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really has. Is there any way that people can reach out to you if they'd like to learn more?
I have a little used Instagram account. It's just at Amanda Walton Hawthorne. There's a silent E on the end of Hawthorne.
All right. I will link to your Instagram as well. Is it like all the same? Are there any spaces, dashes, anything like that?
Oh, all one word.
Awesome. That's lucky. Did you get your Instagram account like when Instagram came out?
Oh, I got it like 3 months ago. I think it's the perks of a hyphenated name. Not that there aren't any Walton Hawthorns running around.
Wow, that's lucky. Yeah, there's so many like Gen Z and even younger who are like how did you get your name as a Gmail address? I'm like, because I existed when Gmail was invented.
There's a life hack for you.
Yeah, it's like because I was alive when Gmail came out. Yeah, so that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for being here, Amanda. This has been awesome. I feel like we're fast friends, and now I do wish I lived in Richmond so that we could hang out. But yeah, I wish you luck with your son, and I can't wait to meet you in real life. And yeah.
Yeah, let's find each other at a campfire soon. Thanks a lot for having me, Megan.
Thanks for listening to the EverydayFI podcast. If you're loving this show, here are some things you can do. Number 1, subscribe in your favorite podcast player and share the show with your friends and family. You can also find us on YouTube now. Some of the videos actually have our faces. Number 2, please leave a review. I am always looking for ways to improve the show. Number 3, check out my website, everyday-fi.com, where you can listen to all the episodes and leave comments for myself and the guest. Number 4, if you're interested in sharing your own financial independence story and connecting with other community members, you can find a submission form at everyday-fi.com/podcast. And lastly, number 5, join my Patreon membership for only $5 a month at patreon.com/everydayfi podcast. This is a one-woman show, so every little bit of support really helps. See you next time as we continue to go down the path to financial freedom.